Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michael Morales Torres, staff member of Lucha Libre Online, and I have the honor and the privilege to welcome to you my guest at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, from Johannesburg, South Africa, Adam Rose, Leo Kruger himself. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here with us today. Mr. Rose, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
For us, it is an honor. I had to do a small comment. South Africans are really fun people. I actually got to hang with a few South African friends, and Austria and in another country in the south. In Europe, it was pretty cool. South Africans are like vivid people. They are intelligent, they're interesting, and you are definitely not an exception of this. Why we're talking about this specifically? Because you were a mastermind in the early NXT program when you were Leo Kruger. First of all, how was your experience in NXT working as Leo Kruger, as the Hunter?
NXT was probably my favorite experience actually ever. Even compared to being on the road, NXT was the thing I enjoyed the most. Leo Kruger was, I think the development territory before that was FCW, and they changed over while I was still there into NXT. And I was actually the carryover champion at that point. And, the Leo Kruger character had about 5 different versions of itself. And the one that made it to NXT was Leo Kruger the Hunter. But yeah, it was a really good experience.
Yeah, and how was it for you to go from being the hunter, from being the aggressive part, the tough SOB, the most dominant superstar possibly in the early NXT era, to go to the exotic express himself, there, Adam Rose? There are 2 really different versions of you, Mr. Levan. It's like, how do you went from being Leo Kruger to Adam Rose? How do you adapt to that transition? And who pitched the idea?
It was a really big transition. Leo Kruger was about to actually be released from his contract. And I was told, you have 2 weeks to reboot, come up with something that we would want to invest in. And the idea was to go as far away from Kruger as I could. And Adam Rose was about as different as I could get. And I had to totally create him from scratch. He was basically molded off the character from that Russell Brand did from Get Him to the Greek. That's where he was loosely based from. But I did him purely actually to show range and to show that I could do different things. And the crowd reaction in NXT, it was a very popular character in the NXT crowd. So it went very well.
Yeah, not only in the NXT crowd, actually in the main roster, once you debuted, people were like freaking out every time you went out with the whole Exotic Express. How was your experience working in the main roster with WWE as Adam Rose?
Oh, it was a great experience. That's what every one of us that gets into this industry is trying to get to. We're trying to get to that opportunity to work on the road at the WWE. That's the payoff for a 20-year career, And it was a great opportunity, and I appreciate all the experiences I had. And in the beginning, there was a very good reaction to Adam Rose initially, yeah.
And how did you adapt it from working from NXT, the local shows in Florida, then to working all around the country and not all around the world in different countries as part of the main roster? How was that transition for you?
Oh, it's a huge transition. I don't think people realize how big a transition it is from competing just for NXT, even though now NXT is traveling itself now. Back then it wasn't. It was basically just stationed in Florida. But it's basically going from a little pond to this massive, huge pond. It's different now, though, because NXT is so much bigger now than it was when I was there.
Okay. Speaking of ideas and pitching things, there was a huge rumor when few sources were telling that once Vince McMahon got pitched the idea to work as Adam Rose's bunny, was this true, or he did even consider it?
No, it was something that was discussed at one point because he didn't really know how to pay off the bunny storyline. It was a big issue trying to figure out how to pay the whole thing off. And at one point, a serious consideration was making it Vince McMahon. And they said, but why would Vince do this? Vince actually said, why would I do this? And they said, because you're a crazy billionaire and you can do whatever you want. So that definitely was one of the ideas.
Well, so yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it makes much sense. Like to have something completely surprising under the bunny suit, that would have blown everyone's minds. Which was your favorite opponent while working from WWE? It can be from NXT or from WWE main roster.
I'll be honest with you, my favorite opponent, if I'm taking from both NXT, was Tyler Breeze. And when we worked together in NXT, I had some of my favorite matches against him. On the main roster, I'd say Dolph Ziggler. I didn't get that many matches against him, but working with Ziggler is a great learning experience for anyone that gets the opportunity.
Mr. Le Pen, once after you got released from your WWE contract, you went through a rough pathway. You got like really skinny and everything due to your situations. Yeah. And we recently read something that was really cool for all of us and work as an inspirational. You are now 429 days sober. First of all, how does it feel for you? Secondly, who was your motivation? And lastly, what can we expect from this new version of Mr. Le Pen, of Adam Rose?
All right. Well, I mean, I got sick actually while I was still with the company because I had addiction issues, obviously, and I wasn't getting them under control. The company was trying to help me. They couldn't really figure out what was going on, and at the time, obviously, I was lying to everybody about it. I think I went from 220 pounds to about 165 pounds on the road. So everyone knew something was up. They just couldn't figure out what it was. And it got out of control to the point where I ended up pretty much destroying my entire life. And I was living in a Jeep on the beach in Panama City. And one of my friends reached out to the WWE and they contacted me. They sent a car to pick me up, stuck me on a plane, and flew me into rehabilitation. And that saved my life. Honestly, that saved my life. And they didn't have to do that. The point is, they didn't have to do that. I'd left the company on bad terms. They did not have to do what they did, and they did it anyway. And so I have nothing but thanks and appreciation for what they've done for me.
So, what was your motivation to change your life, to change your addiction problems, to become 429 days sober?
Well, I mean, your motivation's rock bottom. You know, you hit that point where your life's completely destroyed. I'd lost everybody and everything at that point. And I had been to jail. I'd been overdosed a few times, and I was the next thing I was going to do was die. And luckily, I decided I wanted to live. I didn't want to die. You know, I have two wonderful little kids, and I wanted to be a part of their lives. And that's my motivation, honestly. It's just I want to watch my kids grow up. I want to do something still with my life that my kids can say, I'm proud of my dad. That's my motivation.
Wow, it's pretty impressive, man. I mean, going from rock bottom to all the way up again and being in possibly the best shape in your life, it is something really impressive. What message can you send to every person out there with addiction problems, who is in rock bottom, who is possibly considering suicide in this moment? What would Adam Rose tell them to motivate them and change their lives?
For me, I would say the thing that motivated me was there's always another day. Rock bottom's a gift. When you hit rock bottom and you've got nothing left to lose, be thankful because that's a gift. That's the thing that ignites the next step. Once you've lost everything else, now's the opportunity to rebuild the next level of your life. Appreciate rock bottom. Be happy I hit rock bottom because your whole life lays ahead of you now.
That sounds really, really, really impressive, man. It's your whole story. It's really motivational. What's next for Adam Rose in 2019? Will he be completely back in pro wrestling industry?
Well, I mean, I've never really left. I've always had my feet in it. I work pretty much every weekend. So, I mean, I'm still wrestling. Right now, there's no major plans with regards to racing. I'm learning how to live my life right now. I don't know how to live a normal life, let alone be a professional wrestler. So I'm learning how to just live a normal life and be content and happy with that. And so right now I haven't got any big ambitions to, you know, take over the world at any point, but you never know what the future holds.
With All Elite Wrestling launched in the market recently in their first event going in May 25, in case Cody Rhodes and the guys offered something to Adam Rose, would Adam Rose consider this maybe to accept his offer?
Never say never. You know, I mean, obviously a guy like me who's done this for over 22 years, you know, the idea is to always compete at the best possible level. So I would appreciate an opportunity or something like that.
Mr. Rose, to all the promoters that are hearing this interview right now, there are promoters from Ecuador, Chile, Peru, Panama from GWE, Dominican Republic, United States, Canada, Puerto Rico. To all the promoters around the world that wants to get the services of the Exotic Express or the Hunter Leo Kruger, where can they contact you?
Right now, the booking email I use, you can go to Instagram on iMailMoon, which actually is supposed to say I'm a Lamoon, but I spelled it wrong and I can't change it. So it's iMailMoon, which is IMAL EM 3 O's and iMailMoon on Instagram, and that's iMailMoon at gmail.com is my email. Or you can find me under my real name. My real name is Raymond Lapon on Facebook. That's what I use to take booking even now.
And to all the fans that want to see more of Adam Rose's work, where can they contact you in social media? What's Adam Rose's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook?
Yeah, I don't use Twitter anymore. I thought Twitter was mean. I think Twitter's like the mean Facebook, honestly. So I use Facebook and I use Instagram. Instagram is iMailMoon or I'm a Lamoon. And Facebook's under my real name, which is Raymond Lapon. Follow those things, you'll see where I'm going to be. I'm pretty much wrestling every weekend.
Mr. Rose, to all the Lucha Libre online fan base, 439,000 followers in Facebook, 189 subscribers in YouTube, over 24,000 followers on Instagram, what message can you send to all of them from Latin America and from all around the world?
What message can I send to all of them? Tomorrow's another day. You know, don't worry about today. Focus on the exact moment you're in and enjoy it. That's all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was Adam Rose, Leo Kruger, the Hunter, the tough SOB South African, the huge superstar, man. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And it's been more than an honor to interview you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.